Well, good evening, everyone. We'll call the regular meeting of council for August 12th, 2024 to order. We do have a closed session coming up first, but prior to that, I will call for disclosure of any pecuniary interest. Seeing none, I will now call upon Deputy Mayor Wilson, please.
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Bowman, that council now go into a closed meeting at 5:31 p.m. pursuant to Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended to discuss the following matters. 1, 239B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Review of OPP detachment board member police record checks. 2, Section 239(2D), labor relations or employee negotiations, and 239(2B), personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Employee pay equity review. 3, Section 239(2F), advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. ICE allocation report. 4, minutes of a closed session, July 8th, 2024.
Thank you very much. Are there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And we will convene in the J.C. Herbert room for closed session. Call the August 12th meeting back to order, and I'll call upon Councilor Youss for the consent agenda, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Moved by myself, Councilor Youss, seconded by Councilor Van Kooten-Bosens, that the items contained in the August 12th, 2024 consent agenda be adopted as presented.
Discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Councilor Van Kooten-Bosens, minutes from the July 8th meeting, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Sorry, Mr. Mayor. My apologies. Moved by myself, Councillor Van Kooten-Bosens, seconded by Deputy Mayor Wilson, that the minutes of the July 8th, 2024 regular meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Thank you. Discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We're now going to go down to our delegations and presentations. Number 1, which is Mary Ann Love, ML Consulting. Mr. Graves, I'll turn that over to you for any introduction you'd like to give, please.
Sure. As council is aware, we often conduct our market review and pay equity review every few years. We've decided to do that in 2024. A part of that compensation review is to have the market review for council remuneration as well. And we've hired Mary Ann Love, who has worked with us in the past, to do this market review. She based the comparators on the same comparators that we use for staff, and following the sort of same process we do for staff, including the recommendations, which is what we've done in the past for council, including the pay adjustments for council. They've mimicked staff. So Mary Ann is here to present her findings in regards to council remuneration. And with that, I would turn it over to Mary Ann.
Thank you, Michael. Through you, Mr. Mayor, can council hear me okay? Checking my audio. I'm not able to hear, so can someone just come?
Yes, we can. It helps if I have the microphone on. Sorry.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Okay, so thanks very much, Michael, for the introduction, and I'll just move forward with the presentation. Sort of by way of background, as your CEO stated, your remuneration was reviewed, has been reviewed in the past. It would appear that the last review was done in 2018. And base pay rates were adjusted to reflect pay rates for the defined comparator group. I'm advised that it was the same comparator group that was used for staff positions. I'm not sure as to what the pay target was at that time. So I'm just reporting on the information that's been that I've been apprised of. With regards to this review, I was asked to take a look at base pay rates and other compensation elements for the mayor, the deputy mayor, and the councillor positions using our updated comparator group, which actually happens to be the same group at this point that's been used for staff, and so we can chat about that. I reviewed the market comparator information that was collected by Ingersoll staff, and I prepared a base pay market summary using percentile targets. And the recommendations in this report are prepared for council's consideration. This slide shows what the current state of pay is. So the base pay rates are showing at the top of the slide. You can see them across the slide. I won't read them out. As you can see, the base pay rate for the mayor, the deputy mayor, and the councillor positions. There are 7 members of Ingersoll Council. There are no additional meeting per diems provided. The benefits are provided with full premiums paid for by the town. There is no participation in the owner's pension plan, and there are no contributions for RSPs made. Kilometrage expense is reimbursed at current CRA rates. Laptop tablets are provided. All members of council are provided a laptop with the option of a cell phone, and members may choose to forego the cell phone and be given a $35 monthly stipend for the internet. The kilometrage, I'm sorry, that was stated twice, so we'll just move on. And the base pay is, I'm advised that the base pay rate is adjusted annually. It's at January 1st, with the same economic adjustment that's provided to the management non-union employee group. By way of summary, you can see the base pay rates are again reflected at the top of the slide. The base pay remuneration for the mayor and the council positions is low to the defined pay market, which is the 60th percentile recommended, and other elements of remuneration are generally comparable. The market comparator group was selected having regard to local regional comparators, and more specifically, the comparator group that was used in the 24 staff compensation study. And as I said, I believe this was the same comparator group that was used for the past review. That's the information that was provided. 13 comparators have been identified, and you can see them listed here on slide. They're Elmer, Brant, Middlesex Center, North Perth, Norfolk, Norwich, Stratford, Strathroy, Caradoc, Thames Center, Tillsonburg, Woodstock, and Zora. Central Elgin did not participate in the survey, so therefore we didn't have their base pay rates to compare to. Generally speaking, from a size standpoint, size of council for the comparators ranges from 5 to 11 members, and 7 members is prevalent. The base pay compensation for the mayor, deputy mayor, council positions was reviewed and compared to the defined pay market. For 11 comparators, base pay compensates for council meetings, committee meetings, and special meetings of council. One of the comparators reports that additional meeting per diems are paid for council and committee special meetings. In terms of the percentile analysis, you can see on this slide, if we're looking at the 60th percentile pay target, we can see that that's highlighted in the peach shade. The mayor rates are $54,241 at the 60th percentile target, the deputy mayor at $24,488, and the councillor at $21,822. There is the base pay rates for the deputy mayor, you would say, are generally competitive, so they're a little higher than the P60 target. The base pay rates for the mayor and the councillor are greatly below. So there are some indicators in terms of why, and some may largely have to do with the comparators that are in the pool in terms of the scope of governance, in terms of their tier, and council may have some views on that. As I said, at this point, I was asked to take a look at the pay market as it relates to the comparators. As you see, I was referenced, and so this is what the numbers produce, right? So I'll just continue to move on to the base pay practice. Excuse me. The 2018 compensation review, I understand, increased your base pay rates to reflect the rates of the comparators, but a percentile target wasn't identified in that review, I'm advised. The compensation philosophy for the management non-union positions establishes job rates or maximum pay rates at the 60th percentile target. That was approved in 2000, and it's recommended to be continued into 2024. The establishing the same percentile pay target for council staff positions is a prevailing practice in the sector. The 60th percentile target is the dollar rate where 60% of the wage rates in the comparator organizations are below a particular amount and 40% are above, so it's a bit above the median. The base pay rates for mayor and councils are below that target, and you can see in the lower part of the slide here the ranges. So the market range for the mayor is 54,000, or the rate for the mayor is 54,241, and you can see quite a span from about 28,000 to 103,000. The market rate for the deputy mayor is 24,488, and that ranges from 21,000 to 42,000 in the comparator group. And the market rate for the councillor is $21,882, and again, the pay rates are ranging from 18,000 to about 40,000 in the comparator group. Again, with regards to other elements of remuneration, 6 comparators are reporting that benefits are provided to all members. 1 comparator reports that there is a payment in lieu of about $4,000 annually, with the ability to purchase health and dental coverage under the city's benefits plan. 1 comparator of the group is reporting participation in the owner's pension plan, and none of the comparators are reporting that they provide RSP contributions. 10 comparators are providing an iPad or laptop to the members of council. 4 report that they provide cell phones, and 1 comparator is reporting they provide an annual allowance of $720 for internet and phone usage. 2 comparators are reporting that they provide conference and training per diems in the amounts of $160 per day, with 1 comparator, and 1 comparator is providing $181 per half day. 10 comparators are reporting that kilometerage is reimbursed and 70 cents per kilometer is prevalent amongst the group. 12 comparators are reporting that base pay rates were adjusted annually by the same economic adjustment that's provided to the management non-union or the union pay rates. By way of conclusion, the comparator group is representative based on select criteria, size, and scope. All right, as has been determined or has been recommended for the management non-union group. The 60th percentile pay target is reasonable based on size, scope, and pay practice of the comparator group. It also aligns with the pay target for the employee group, which seems to be a prevailing practice in the sector. Base pay rates for mayor and councilors would require an increase to meet the 60th percentile pay target. The other elements of remuneration are generally comparable to the defined group. It is best practice in the sector to increase annual base pay for elected official positions annually by the amount that's used to adjust the employee salary grid. This is what we're doing here in Ingersoll. It's allowing for a year-over-year increase to align with cost of living increases, again, supported by survey results. It's also best practice in the sector to review compensation for elected officials once during the term of council using a survey of comparator municipalities. In terms of recommendations, the following base pay rates are recommended for council's consideration based on the market review. So you can see the mayor's rate here at $54,241. The deputy mayor is competitive, so there'd be no change recommended, and the council position would be a recommended increase at $21,822. Council may wish to implement the 24 base pay rates in 2024, or could give consideration to implementation effective January 1, 2025. Whatever it is that council is going to approve based on 2024 rates, we would need to be putting an economic adjustment on that to bring us into the 2025 pay cycle. It's recommended that council continue a practice of adjusting base pay for the elected official positions annually by using a percentage adjustment provided for the management non-union employee salary grid. It's also recommended that a compensation review be conducted once every 3 to 4 years using comparative survey data. The next review would then be during the next term of council. And I believe that concludes the report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. I'll open the floor to questions, but I will go first. I have a question. Obviously, staff have the ability to transfer municipalities, so we have to consider all different size municipalities. And not unfortunately, because I like it here, that council is part of this municipality. And so I would have to say that I don't agree with including such as Brant County, Norfolk County. They have way different criteria for what they do as far as job roles and responsibilities, and same with Stratford and Woodstock. They're much larger centers. So those ones, certainly when they're considered in the group, they do push that wage, nothing wrong with your math, but it does push that percentile higher. I personally would like to see only true comparable municipalities, size-wise, population-wise, role and responsibility-wise, considered, because I think that personally I do think that is driving up the percentage into a rate that's I couldn't support because based off the comparables there. Is that something that council can direct through our staff to have an amendment done to the report based off those, if we give you criteria to do that?
If I can, could I respond to that, Mr. Mayor? Yeah?
Yes, please.
Sure. Yeah, I think certainly I understand the observations, and I think this was a place to start, and oftentimes it will deliver a result that makes a lot of sense. Here you can see by the span and the range in the comparator group, there's quite a broad span, and that is brought forward by the very, observations that you've made. There are a few comparators that are skewing those results. We can certainly take another look at the comparator group and come back with a refined comparator group and a different base pay rate analysis. But at this point, we wanted to get this before council, sort of following along a practice of using the similar comparator group, so the council could see the results and then provide that direction for further review.
Excellent, thank you very much. Further questions of council? Councilor Hughes, please.
Thank you. Yeah, that's quite the report, quite the recommendation. In my opinion, and this is just strictly my opinion as a counselor, could never vote for that much of an increase. That's way, 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 way a lot. At the end of the day, I always deemed being a counselor, an elected official for the municipality, as community service as opposed to doing it for the money. And I know we all don't do it for the money. I get that. But it's, again, to me, I'm happy with what I get right now. But at the end of the day, no, I wouldn't agree with this and echo the mayor that we need to have a little better look at different, more comparable municipalities than some of these that are listed here in our report.
Okay. Councilor Bowman, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To you and through you to Mary Ann, thank you again, as it's already been stated, for this report. It's great to see the different comparators, but I have to agree with the mayor and Councilor Hughes. I'd like to see the comparators a little bit more specific to our size range. And just as Councilor Hughes has said, I myself don't do it for the money. I'm here for the community service. It's my community. I want to be part of it. I want to do my job. So I have to agree with the mayor's suggestion.
Any further questions of the report? I believe Deputy Mayor Wilson has the motion. Are you prepared to make a motion? Excellent. Please go ahead.
Moved by myself, I'll leave the seconder open because you don't know what I'm about to say yet. That council of the corporation of the town of Ingersoll receive as information the presentation from Mary Ann Love of ML Consulting, that staff be directed to seek a refined comparator group and base pay analysis.
Discussion. Oh, perfect. Seconder. We do have one now, so we will now have discussion. Councilor Van Kooten-Bosens.
Well, I agree with that. I have to echo the sentiments. I don't do this for the money. I do this because I love my community. And so having it come back as different comparators, I think would be a good thing. But not in my right mind would I ever vote for a 45% or whatever that percentage was, the ridiculous was. I can't do that. That's not what this community is all about. So seeing something a little bit more, I'm very comfortable in how we've been going. Usually whatever we give non-union or management staff is what we've seen as our own increases as well. And to me, that is what we should be continuing to do. But I welcome the chance to hear what Mary Ann can bring back with different comparators. Definitely always willing to listen, but I at this point would not be able to support any other motion, so I will support the Deputy Mayor's motion.
Perfect. For the Deputy Mayor Wilson, please.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. I just wanted to provide an alternative perspective. I agree that, I'm lucky enough to not be doing this for the money either. We get to sit here and say that. But the reality is we aren't making these decisions for ourselves in these positions. We're making these decisions to create conditions where people even want this responsibility in the future. So again, I'm not saying I would support the increase or anything like that, but the alternative perspective is that these decisions are not just for our own personal benefit. We are also hoping that people want to run and do this job in the future, so we're creating those conditions, and that's an important perspective to consider as well, because there are some people where this amount of money would be, life-changing for their opportunity, and we want that perspective to feel welcome in these chambers, so that's the alternative I want to offer.
Further comment? No, I'll say that I will support this 100%. I'll be honest, I think council does have a good policy now of following, we take that decision out of, the market adjustment every year is tied to what staff get, so that's out of our hands. Again, I agree with the P60 because of what the deputy mayor said. We want to have people that are competitive, but we have to have an accurate pool of what that representation looks like. You have to have the right amount of pay for the job that we're doing. And certainly the county of Brant, I will say that pay of $103,000 is in line with what the warden of the county gets. Those are different roles and responsibilities, and maybe don't align correctly with what the job of the mayor of Ingersoll does. So it's about getting the right amount so we can justify that to our residents of the role that we're taking on, the compensation's there, but it's fair to people who do want to run in that scene. So I think that if we can get it, just to tighten up the comparator pool a little bit there, we'll be able to have confidence in what comes forward before us, and be able to share that with our residents with confidence as well, that we're trying to make the right decisions to make sure that people will want to run for the position, they're well compensated. I'll be honest that, I'm in a position right now where I can do this. I'm also the position on county council, which is another about $36,000 a year. And currently this year, I'm the chair of Upper Thames River Conservation Authority. So I make about $70,000 a year in this role. So I can do that. But if I have to afford a new house, I'm not affording a new house in this role. I'm not affording, I don't have car payments. I don't have children. So it makes it, if you're going to give up a career to go into this role. To me, this is a full-time role because I'm choosing it to make it a full-time role. But again, that doesn't mean everybody could. I don't know, but there is a community service aspect to it as well. But at the end of the day, you are asking people to do a lot in some roles, right? So it's, in every role, like council as well has to, there's a lot of, it's not just the meetings, there's stuff in behind. So we do need to be fair and accurate, and I think we will get there. I realize where you were coming from as far as the starting out, it's the same comparators that we use for staff. So it's certainly not against that, and the math is correct. It's just more of, I think we're hearing good direction on council here, so, and support. So certainly in support of that. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We'll be back with a revised report at an upcoming meeting. Appreciate the direction.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
And we are now going to go down to our other delegations and presentations, and we're going to start with Nadia Faca from the hospital. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Tanya Peary. I'm the Alexander Hospital Board Chair. And I'd also like to introduce Scott Davies, who is Vice Chair for the Hospital Board. And to my left here, I have Nadia Faca, who is our Integrated President and CEO of both hospitals. And we're here to share a little bit about our upcoming integration with AHI and TDMH, similar to the information that we presented at our May 13th Community Information Engagement Session. Tonight we'll be sharing information about our hospital, our integration journey, and our clinical services planning.
All right, thank you very much for having us. So many of you will know that Alexander Hospital Ingersoll has had a long history with the town. The hospital has been in existence since, from what I understand, the history books 1909, and Tillsonburg has been a hospital in that area of Oxford County since about 1925. Right now, Ingersoll Hospital has 26 beds, and Tillsonburg has 50 beds. And alongside those beds, we also run 24/7 emergency departments, as well as many outpatient clinics. And we also offer space to other healthcare organizations in both hospitals to provide services to our communities. Just some quick facts and statistics. If you're a numbers person, you can just quickly glance at the slide there, but in the interest of time, I'm going to keep going. We have been making major infrastructure investments in both of our hospitals, and I think it's important for our council and our town to see the difference we've made in the Ingersoll Hospital in terms of the generator, the elevators, as well as we're in process right now of replacing the chillers, and that's over $3 million of investment that has happened in a few short years. Similarly, in Tillsonburg Hospital, similar investments and changes over $3 million there as well. Each hospital does have its own foundation, and we're very proud of that. The foundation does excellent work in terms of fundraising for our hospitals. The Ministry of Health does not provide funding for equipment, so when something breaks or we need something new, whatever that looks like in terms of equipment to maintain our hospital operations, we look to the foundation to help us with that support. I'm hoping to see many of you at our golf tournament on Thursday. That is one of our major fundraisers for the Ingersoll Hospital, and it's always a great day for us to come together and do that. So I'm going to turn it back over to Tanya.
So what is integration? Well, in our instance, integration means that our two hospitals have been planning to come together as one organization. In May of this year, our boards voted to pursue this full and legal integration. This means we'll be creating the governance framework of the new organization. In the legal process, we've prepared an amalgamation agreement and we have made draft revisions to our corporate bylaws. We've just submitted our legal application to the Ministry of Health, awaiting their response. Should everything get approved by the Ministry of Health, we'll have one umbrella organization with 2 sites in the future. So why now? Our journey has been going on for over a decade. The board started by having one CEO. The boards then developed a way of working closely together through a joint memo of understanding. And we know what's happening in each of our hospitals. We have a joint strategic plan for several years now. Even our branding is together with both hospital names in our logo, and it has been like that for many years. The journey has evolved and has done so on a voluntary basis. We did pause this work over the pandemic to be able to focus on what was in front of us at that time. Since 2022, we've refreshed our work on this, and we're now proceeding with the planning as it was to happen. We believe that working together has allowed us to be a stronger presence in the larger healthcare system and will continue to allow us to have a stronger presence in the future. I won't read these, but in the interest of time, but these are on our website and these are our guiding principles. And these are our non-negotiables that are also on our website. And there are many benefits as to our why that are highlighted, that are for our patients, our team members, for efficiency, and for the system. Again, in the interest of time, I won't read the whole slide, but the key piece in our integration is in that last few bullet points at the bottom of the right-hand corner of the slide, to increase our visibility on what the hospitals can do, work with our partners to improve efficiencies within Oxford and Southwest region, and improve sustainability of 2 small hospitals serving local communities. We're stronger together. So as I mentioned, we very much believe that integration, bringing our 2 hospitals together, we will feel we are stronger together. We're doing so on a voluntary basis, and we think it'll make us stronger players in the complex, larger healthcare system. And I'll turn that back to Nadia.
All right, you may have seen this invitation, and Tanya had mentioned that on May 13th, we did host a community information and engagement session, and I understand it was the same day as another meeting that many of our town councils could not attend. So we did put together a video in relation to, the leading up to this session that we held, and there was a survey that was also with the invitation and with the video. The video basically had the key messages that we're sharing again with you tonight. So we've tried to be very consistent in why we're doing this and the approach that we've been taking. So from the survey that was embedded in that video, we did listen to what the community asked us and what the community told us and what they were concerned about. And of note for today, especially, is that we're listening to what the community is telling us about their top health concerns whenever we are reviewing what we're doing every day, but also in the aspect of this integration. So some of the questions that did come through, which maybe are in your mind as well tonight in terms of what is happening with the integration. So I'm just going to go through some of the top questions we received. So we were asked about wait times and improving patient care, what might go, what might stay, and is this mean an access to a larger network, and what services will remain. So we are doing the best that we can with the resources we have. It is our intention to strategically invest in the future and look across both hospitals to do that the best we can for both towns and all the neighboring communities and the people that we serve. I'm also going to talk about clinical service planning in our slides tonight, so I'll wait for that till I get to that point. We also were asked about strategic plan, if we have the same strategic plan, what will happen with budgets and what will happen with donations. Our hospitals have been operating, as Tanya said, under a joint memorandum of understanding for several years, and under that, they've had a joint strategic plan for many years, and we'll continue to do that. We expect that our funding agreement with the ministry will become one after the integration. Really depends on what the ministry decides with that. Our hospitals will still maintain their own operating budgets and be responsible for the activity within each hospital to the budget that we're given through the Ministry of Health. We have committed to retaining the two foundations. So when I showed at the beginning of the presentation, the two foundations as they are, it's very important that the foundation is attached to each specific hospital and does that fundraising very much locally with the hospital and for the needs of each hospital in particular. So that will stay the same. And donations go where the donor wishes them to go. Some donors are very, very specific as to what they want their money to go towards, and others say, here you go and use it to the best need or the highest need in the hospital. We will absolutely continue to live with that commitment and uphold those commitments. Other questions we were asked around the name. So does the name of the hospital change after integration? And some things about how does it help the community, and also are doctors able to practice at both hospitals. So we did have a process to determine what a name of the newly integrated organization would be, and our community was involved and engaged in that. We cannot use the name until the ministry approves the name to be used, and if they do, then we will be announcing that. What was very important, and is one of our commitments that has stayed true in this integration process, is that each hospital will retain its site name. So what that means is in the future, you may see an umbrella name as the organization, but Alexandra Hospital Ingersoll will still be Alexandra Hospital Ingersoll, and same thing with the one in Tillsonburg. So that will retain, and many hospitals that have integrated, they do that, and they recognize that the name of the building is very important to the community.